Yeah. Well, in the consultation form, we usually say to them, the first thing is, what's your goals, what do you want to achieve, and what your barriers are. Now, barriers could be anything from busy facilities to if I have a bad day, I don't want to do this, I don't want to run, I don't want to jog, I don't want to go in the... And that's how I get from where they are to where they are now, because I say to them, I'm not here to force you to do anything. I do what you want to do, I just make sure you do it safely and you feel comfortable. So what my job is to do is to try and get them into a facility or to get them exercising for at least 30 minutes a day. Now, it could be a case of, going for a walk, it could be travelling for 5 minutes, it could be doing a bit of body weight stuff, just anything, because the biggest challenge for these guys is getting through that front door. It's not about what they do in the gym, it's about here. Once they come in and they do 5 minutes of training, which has to be done, that's fine, but they've got here. And that's the biggest thing with this project.
I was 22.5 stone at the time. So getting into a gym, when I've got visions that everybody that's not 22.5 stone, to me they look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm sort of, I've never really had, as I say, confidence issues till I walked into that gym for the first time. And I thought, well, I won't use the exact words of what I thought, but looking at everybody else thinking, in the name of God, and a bit of paranoia, they looking at the fat guy running, whatever, but in fairness, after the first session, dealing with Craig and everything else, I sort of started to take a bit of a different attitude as we went on, that I thought, even if they are staring at me, that my perception, my anxiety changed to, well, you try pulling 22.5 stone onto a step, and I bet that skinny guy over there can't do it.
Find out what the person's likes, dislikes are, what their barriers are, and then he'll work with them to try and overcome them. So if it's been around large groups, he will make sure it's a quiet, private space that they'll do their physical activity in, which might be out walking outside. Equally, it might be in a studio, just with the two of them doing some basic exercises. But we do, with our special population exercises, we will usually do them in smaller areas, private gyms, and then once they get the confidence, we'll then start taking them into the bigger gyms. So it's very much a holistic approach.
We also have a local disability sports club who have started to do walking football with a club, because they've realised that it's a small step that they're having to help those people become active from the very outset.
What we did though was we had a lot of feedback from people saying that they wanted to come out with their partner. So we thought, okay, well how can we do that? So that was from the outcomes from last year. People wanted to get out a little bit longer. They wanted to start going a wee bit further. So what we did this year was we introduced just an adult round. So there was no kids or young people coming along, it was just adults. And we wanted people to feed into that, and they could bring their partner, come out with their husband or wife or whatever.
When the small steps with individual clients, some clients will come along, they're not fearful at all, they'll come into the gym, feel quite comfortable, but we've had clients that's even been difficult to get them through the doors. And sometimes the steps that we take there are just bringing them in and having a chat in the environment, having a cup of tea even, and chatting about their anxieties, so that we can then take the next step to perhaps taking them up to the gym when it's quiet, so they can get a wee look around and not feel intimidated by people working out or whatever. So we let the client tell us what they feel they can manage. If the gym's out the question, we can go for a walk. That's an activity, just the client and myself, we can go for a walk. Sometimes we encourage them, to come along and watch a class, and rather than come and take part straight away, so they can come and watch the class, see what they think, and perhaps then, when they've got an idea of what's going to be expected of them, whether they think they can manage that or whether they can't.
We specifically used seated exercise because a lot of the people had maybe chronic long-term health conditions, and asking them to go to a regular fitness class just wouldn't happen. Even the gym can be a really scary place, and you've got to be a certain person to go to the gym. It can be very insular, and I think the social aspect of the class, along with the low-level activity, so for example the seated exercise, that worked really well for us.
So to find out what activities were suitable, we would speak to the participants, new participants who were coming in, and we would ask them why they wanted to do different activities or what activities they had tried in the past. And quite often we were finding that they didn't want to access the activities and the classes that were on our timetable, and a lot of that was down to I don't think I'm fit enough. I don't think I'll be able to do that class. I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb, or I'm just really not confident about what actually is in that class. So we wanted to make sure that there was an activity where they could see it first. So we did some pilot tasters within the Active Lives population. So we got them in to try some classes and give us feedback on how they felt that was. Was it too easy for them? Was it too hard? Was it the right length of time? Was it the right studio type thing? And so from those, we then kind of developed the programme so that it now is what it is, and it meets the needs of those people coming, and we were getting people that are coming back time and time again.
There was good and bad points to it. Some care homes were much better organised and they allocated time and staff to go to the training. Other care homes, it was very ad hoc. So every care home was just that little bit different. But we covered the training, and hopefully we've encouraged more staff to become more involved with the residents' activity. We ran a competition last year, and we were doing step counts. So we had a step count for residents, a step count for staff, and a step count for visitors. And we monitored it, we kept track of it, and we had a winner for each, and they were absolutely delighted. A 96-year-old lady who had broke her hip a year ago covered 119 miles over the 12 weeks. Just brilliant, such an inspiration.